All right, welcome back everyone. My name is Pratesh here with Kaizen Crypto, bringing you guys another video. Here today we're going to be taking a look at the overall market, giving you my thoughts on some of the top cryptocurrency projects, as well as where we stand at currently with the current cycle. So before we get started, I'd just like to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys are new to the channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, that way you can stay tuned for future videos. Here I post cryptocurrency news, content related to different types of altcoin projects. We talk about the macroeconomics behind cryptocurrencies and global economies. All of that is found here on this YouTube channel. So if you are interested in that type of content, smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you can stay tuned for future videos. If you do find some value, be sure to drop a like and let's get into it. So to get this video started, I just wanted to show you guys a couple of things. What I'm looking at here, just to give you a bit of background about myself, I've been in cryptocurrency now since around about 2017. And around about 2017, I started dabbling with it. I was very interested in cryptocurrencies. And many of you guys know 2017 is when we saw some incredible price movements from a lot of these top cryptocurrencies. Now, my experience level at the time was, I was an infant in the cryptocurrency space, and I knew very little as far as the concepts of hodling and basics of technical analysis. So where I'm getting at with this is, I didn't really understand the market cycles and the psychology behind the movements of price action between Bitcoins and certain altcoins. I was very unaware of my own personal strategy and how to capitalize from that. So by making this video, I just wanted to share my thoughts with you of where we stand at currently within the space and with the current cycle with altcoins in relations to Bitcoin. So what I've got for you here, this is a tweet from Jonathan, and shout out to you, Jonathan. I want to give you a like. Thank you for this tweet. It's a very interesting perspective. So according to him, he thinks this is exactly what led into the alt season previously. And it's almost unstoppable looking into the multi-month rally into Bitcoin dominance creeping up towards all-time highs and altcoins dropping to their all-time lows. So he's not saying that this is something that's going to happen, but it is something that we've seen historically leading up into an alt cycle. Now, to tie into that, I've got the coin market cap pulled up for you here. This is the overall market. And one thing I'd just like to point out, just an observation, we can see here Bitcoin kind of staying at around this $10,000 point. It's almost like a neutral level as it's consolidating around this level. And we can see a lot of the capital has started to flow in towards these top altcoins. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be something that happens on a more consistent basis over time, but it's just an interesting thing to point out here. Today specifically, we can see it's a green day. Of course, we can see a lot of these top altcoins have definitely had a nice little spike in price here. So Bitcoin, we can see 1.8%, and number two, Ethereum, the top altcoin, almost 7% gain. Okay, so this is very interesting to see. Now let's take a look comparative to BTC. We can see here Bitcoin, of course, is Bitcoin, and Ethereum compared to Bitcoin is up 5%. What does this mean? Well, a lot of the capital from investors purchasing Bitcoin is now looking into other avenues. People are starting to want to take more risk. They're wanting to grow their capital at a faster rate by acquiring some of these altcoins. That is the main psychology behind investing in altcoins. Guys, just from my perspective, I think the name of the game here as we go into the future is going to be to acquire one Bitcoin or as many Bitcoin as possible, however many you can afford according to your risk tolerance and your financial situation. But many people who are playing this game, they're in it to acquire more Bitcoin. By investing in a lot of these cheaper altcoins, you're able to grow the value of your Bitcoin portfolio at a much faster pace as opposed to just dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. That's the main psychology behind it. I think that that's my psychology. This is not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you guys my opinion. And what we can see here is that this is actually something that's taking place. Now, I'm not going to say that this is something that is going to trigger the next altcoin season. I don't think we're going to know exactly when that happens until we see Bitcoin dominance really start to pull back a little bit here. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin dominance. We can see Bitcoin dominance still kind of touching near all-time highs. All-time highs, I would have to say, until we cross over 80%, I don't think that we're going to be nearing an altcoin season, because this level right here is very significant. We can see we had a touch here as support, 80%, another touch here, 80%, another touch here, 80%, another touch here, almost 80%. So I think that we're going to be seeing Bitcoin dominance increase potentially up until this 80% point, this previous level of support now acting as potentially resistance. I think it would make a lot of sense for us to be able to touch that level and then get rejected, and we might be able to see an altcoin season at that point. We can see a lot of these top players here, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, just being drained right now because of Bitcoin dominance on an upwards trajectory. But what does this mean for investors who are looking to take risks into altcoins? Well, I wanted to point something out to you here as well. What we're seeing now is altcoins kind of being depleted in their price relationship to Bitcoin. But let's take a look at Ethereum. I think Ethereum is going to be a key player here in the next altcoin season because it is the largest altcoin by market cap. And a lot of platforms are built on Ethereum. It's got a huge developer base. You've got things such as Maker. Maker is making huge strides right now with its decentralized finance movement. You've got platforms such as Samsung has announced that they are not only going to have an Ethereum wallet on their phones, but now you can also store Bitcoin. So ERC20 tokens are a huge thing. And I know gaming, a lot of people are looking at things like Engine, which is going to be for gaming platforms. A lot of these decentralized finance movement tokens are on Ethereum. You've got XRP. XRP is also doing very well. Litecoin is also feeling a little bit of love here. You've got Stellar Lumens, you've got Cardano, Tron, Chainlink. A lot of these top players are seeing some nice gains. And if we scroll down here, if we take a look, a lot of these smaller cap altcoins, they're seeing some decent amount of price movement here. But as far as risk to reward, it's very hard to be able to pick exactly which one of these is going to just really come out on top, right? Like really just boom in terms of adoption and use case and market dominance. As far as taking risks, I would have to say for me personally, I'm looking at projects that are within the top 20. I think that as far as risk to reward, a lot of these projects here in the top 20 are looking to become compliant with government regulations. They're building on top of security token offering platforms, decentralized finance, privacy. They're being integrated with different types of hardware such as smartphones. I think that the risk to reward is better as we go up into the top 20, as opposed to some of these coins as we scroll down here, the top 50, top 100. That is, just for my personal opinion, the risk to reward for me right now is not there, mainly because it's still too hard to tell whether or not one of these coins is going to make it huge. And if we can take a look here as well, also the volume is something that I'm paying attention to. A lot of people look at some of these altcoins and they say, hey, look at the price of this, it's less than a penny. Verge, right? It's a privacy coin. But look at the volume. The volume is negligible. As opposed to something here in the top 20, there's going to be greater liquidity, more exchanges are going to be able to trade. Look at VeChain, right? Just an example, VeChain, less than a penny, volume is considerably higher than what we would find in the top 50. And that's going to be pretty much the same song and dance as we go up here into the top level altcoins. So just want to give you my thoughts on that. I think as far as taking risks in this market, risk to reward is definitely going to be better balanced if you remain within the top 20, maybe top 25. And risk to reward really does start to come out of favor as you go lower. Yes, the percentage gains might be greater, but the chances of picking an altcoin that does actually 100x 1000x is going to be much less. So just my two thoughts on that. I wanted to show you here this as well. This is the Ethereum chart, and this is going to be taking a look at what we see here with dominance in regards to Bitcoin and the current alt cycle. So where we are at right now, we can see that the price in relationship to Bitcoin is almost at an all-time low. And this is something that we saw here back in 2016. You know, we could see that the price had kind of gone up here in relationship to Bitcoin, and then it just went on this really, really drastic low level, just consolidating here around this level before we just spiked up in price. The USD value of Ethereum at the time, at the beginning of 2017, was around about $11–10. Okay, so very, very low USD value. And we can see here that on this first pump, in relationship to Bitcoin, it was at a huge peak, right? So very, very attractive in terms of Bitcoin price, but then also the USD price, it went from what, $10–11 to $375 within, so that was back here in February, and we reached that level in June. So within a few months, the price had peaked at around that level. And then we saw in terms of Bitcoin, the price corrected heavily, right? So the capital that was in Ethereum at that point had been moved into Bitcoin, or gradually speaking. However, the USD price remained almost in this ascending triangle, just consolidating around this level, around about $300. So what I'm getting at with this here is, I mean, this is what I am looking for in terms of an alt cycle. We're here right now. So we're here. This price point right here is just, it's very low, it's depleting, it's consolidating in this range, and I'm looking to catch this wave up. So from this point here up until this point here. Now it's going to be very, very hard to time this exact movement, which is why I think it's beneficial for investors to go ahead and have their allocation. So get into your long-term position, whatever you feel comfortable with, and be prepared for the price to go lower, right? And if the price does go lower, have a strategy. In my personal opinion, I think it's beneficial to, instead of investing all of your money at one time, ladder in, make incremental purchases. I think that's smart, because there's no way for you to time the top and there's no way for you to time the bottom. And when something like this happens, right, we have this huge spike in terms of Bitcoin value as well as USD value, maybe go ahead and take some of that capital that you had invested in your altcoin and go ahead and put it into Bitcoin, because look at what happens after that. We had a huge run up and then a huge correction, pretty much giving back all of the gains in relationship to Bitcoin. So I want to be able to capitalize on this type of movement. Now, even though the price of Ethereum consolidated here in terms of its USD value, comparative to Bitcoin, it had a huge correction, right? After that correction, we had another big spike, correction, spike, correction. So the market moves in cycles, and I want to be able to capitalize on that movement. Where we're at currently right now, the value of a lot of these altcoins, top players, have been depleted, and they're at a point right now where they're making all-time lows. So I look at this as an opportunity to get in potentially at something like this so that I can capitalize on a move like this. So that is what I'm looking at here going into the next altcoin cycle. Altcoin Daily just released a video talking about his top 4 altcoin picks going into 2019 quarter 4. I am very excited about quarter 4. For me personally, I'm not going to give you guys my altcoin picks. I'm very bullish on Ethereum, Litecoin, Cardano, just to name a few. Chainlink, I'm also very bullish on. As far as any types of other cryptocurrencies, anything that can produce a passive return is going to be a winner for me. That's what I had focused on in 2018, knowing that it was a bear market. I knew that I wasn't going to be trading this market, so for me to be able to establish some sort of passive income was a huge bonus, especially if you're going to be hodling for the long term. So just to keep that into perspective, guys, if you are able to find cryptocurrency projects that are going to provide the use case and adoption and liquidity, look for ones that have an extra source of income through staking or master nodes, anything like that. That's a huge win for me. So, and it's definitely worked out pretty well. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much what I have for you here in this video. Just a little bit of my thoughts on where we are at currently with the market and altcoins and what we can expect going forward, hopefully into this next altcoin cycle. All right, you guys, I appreciate you watching. If you did find value, smash that like button. And until next time, take care.